Hello and welcome to Star to Steer Her By,
Hello.
a Star Trek podcast.
Good.
This is episode 250.
What? Oh my goodness, that's a good one.
250.
Yes.
Holy
That's one of
shit.
the, that's a famous number.
It's a milestone that we have nothing prepared
famous
for.
number.
That's 250. That is 250,000.
Yep, that's what
Nope.
that is.
Wow.
That's almost as many stars there are in the galaxy.
Also true.
Neat.
Anyway,
Peter means rock.
so yeah, it's episode 250. That
Woo,
means you've been doing
woo.
this for over
A million
a
years.
long amount of time.
Yeah.
Uh,
For over 5.5 years now.
And the way
Wow.
Paramount is going, we're never going to be able to finish.
Wow. I just shared today, this will date when we're recording this, because fuck my life. But I shared today, there's also announcement when Orville's coming back and their new trailer. Damn. It looks neat.
I didn't know there was a new trailer. I'd heard they had pushed back their start date a little bit.
Yeah, June 2nd, it looks like.
good for
As of
them.
today. It may change. We'll see.
Did Seth MacFarlane need extra time to write misogynistic jokes?
Hey. Anyway, my name is Jake, and I'm joined by
Oh,
Chris.
fuck me. Sorry, Chris.
and names.
Oh, yes. I mean, Jake's right.
Yeah,
That is who he's joined by.
I am one of those people. Thanks.
Sorry.
Yeah. So these bojos. Are here. But that's it. Nobody else today. So
No.
What?
Unless any of the cats cat bomb.
yeah, cats might join in.
To be fair, our cats do have a lot of really good opinions about Star Trek.
Cool. Okay, so this week we are talking about 2 episodes of Star Trek: The Voyager,
Neat.
Dreadnought, Donut,
Dreadnought.
Duncan's.
Dreadnought. Good,
The suit
very
is
good, Caitlin.
not.
Dreadnought
Oh, God.
and Death Wish. Wow, timely Borat jokes. I love it.
Thank you.
Hey, they just
as-
released a new Borat movie like a year and a half ago.
That's
He's
true.
back.
There you
Borat's
go.
back. Just
Plus,
like
there's
the
an actor
Green
in one of these
Islands.
episodes that... No, wait, that wasn't this, was it?
What?
Where was that actor that you thought that I would think, no, that was some movie? Never mind.
Yeah, that was
Cut
not,
it.
Yeah.
Cut it. None of it was
Nope.
good.
Nope, we're keeping all this. This is our 250th episode. No editing.
As a
Oh,
side
God,
Wow.
no.
That's gonna be horrible.
I'm just gonna put on the opening and ending themes, and that is it. So watch yourselves.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jake, you and I have to be especially careful
I
today.
should whip it out and tube in this thing. Oh wait, no, this isn't video.
As a side note, though, they finally had an episode that they could have made a Q pun that would have worked. Called it Death Wish when they could have called it Q-uid.
No.
But that's dark.
Yeah.
That's too dark. But
All
anyway,
right, start-
we're not going to talk about Death
start
Wish
with the other
just
one.
yet. First, we're going to talk about Dreadnought. All right, so in Dreadnought, our crew is tooling about, and they find
Tooling,
some
all right.
wreckage. And they're like, this is some cool wreckage. And they check it out, and they're like, this wreckage looks like it was blown up by the Cardassians? What?
Miss them.
And so they're like, is old Sesky boy up to her old shenanigans? And they're like, nope, this wasn't Sesky. This was the Dreadnought. And what is the Dreadnought, you ask? Well, the Dreadnought is a Cardassian missile, like an autonomous missile that's basically just a ship with a big warhead on it.
Yeah, it's got life support and air and what?
Yeah, so it's a ship-sized missile that's super fucking powerful, of course, because the Cardassians. And it turns out that a year or so or something before the Voyager got pulled away, the Maquis had captured this missile, and B'Elanna went all B'Elanna on it and made it work for them. Turned it in from a Cardassian missile into a Maquis missile. And they were going to use it to blow up some Cardassian shit, as they do. And then they sent it on its way, and then it disappeared. And they thought it was lost. But it turns out it just got sucked into the Delta Quadrant, same as everybody else. And now it's floating around the Delta Quadrant, and it's basically decided that, I don't know where I am, but I know I'm supposed to be shooting at Cardassians, So these people over here must be Cardassians.
It's like
and
Nomad.
Yeah, it kind of pulls a Nomad.
You're
This
right.
unit is
mind a little bit.
This missile is perfect.
I hadn't thought of that. Good connection.
I wrote, I said and wrote this missile is perfect many times in my notes.
So the missile is about to crash into some planet and create massive devastation. But B'Elanna's like, listen, I know this missile inside and out. I taught it everything it knows. It even talks like me. So let me beam over there. I'll shut it down. We'll be all set. But it turns out she made the missile too damn smart, and it sees what she's doing, and it's like, B'Elanna wouldn't do this normally. She must be a Cardassian or Federation collaborator now, so fuck her. I'm going to continue to blow up this planet. And then it kind of goes like that, and like Janeway calls up the planet. It's like, hey, bro, big missile, not our fault. Well, I mean, it kind of is, but it isn't really, but we're going to try to stop it. So just hang tight. And the guy's like, well, okay, if you say so.
They're all so nice.
Thanks for the heads up.
It's the nicest planet in the Delta Quadrant.
It's also not exactly what they were like. They're kind of more like, how do we know that you aren't just fucking us over like your reputation says you would?
They came around quick enough.
Yeah, they didn't really put up much of a fight. They did lose a couple ships trying to attack the missile because the missile defends itself.
After we told them not to, you are no match for this missile. You have no
Maybe we'll surprise you, bitch. Yeah, no, you won't.
In the end, when B'Elanna's attempts to shut down the missile completely fail, she has to do some take a page out of Kirk's book and try to get it to fight with itself by bringing on an alternative AI brain. So then it's a little bit schizophrenic, and while it's distracted, she breaks into the chamber to try to ruin it and cause it to blow up prematurely. Meanwhile, Janeway has evacuated Voyager.
Voyager.
And is planning to fly the ship in the path of the missile. And Tuvok's like, I don't want to live anymore, so I'm going to join you. And just before they do that, B'Elanna manages to break through the protective casing on the missile thing, and it blows up.
Yay!
But they managed to beam her out just in the nick of time. And old Doc saves her life and isn't even mad that they were going to let him die on the ship when it blew up.
That they literally forgot about him.
They left him on, and we're going to blow him up.
He's just like, why is everyone leaving? Where are you leaving sick bay? Okay, bye. Guess it must be a shift change.
Exactly what they told him.
So y'all were all hoping that when Torres turned the normal ship voice back on, that it would have been attention Bajoran workers, right?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that hadn't occurred to me. But also, my attention was drifting slightly. I had a hard time. This one didn't grab me in a big way. As far as our Torres talks to herself episodes go, this is inferior to...
Faces?
Thank you, Faces, yes.
Faces.
I know, Roxanne Dawson has had a funny quote that after this episode, she tells the writers, all right, good. Can the next Torres episode be me talking to another person with a face that isn't mine? Instead of to literal double B or a robot or a ship with my voice.
That's funny. So I have a big problem with the Voyager, or possibly the whole Intrepid class. I don't know. One person can apparently tell it to self-destruct. That seems bad.
Yeah, I don't know why they did it that way. They've never done it that way before.
What if your captain...
A couple of people.
Yeah, what if your captain gets the space crazies?
Or if Data can do a really good impersonation of the captain.
Yeah,
which we've seen him do.
I was gonna say, which I bet he could.
In TOS, it was 3 people. In TNG, it was only 2, but it required both voice print and biometrics, so I guess that sort of made up for it. Now it's just one person, no biometrics, just a voice command, and you're like, this seems irresponsible.
It's a smaller ship, so it doesn't matter.
That's exactly what I said.
Like, it's still... What?
It's like big loss.
Well, guys, listen, we had to listen to B'Elanna and the computer have the same fucking argument for half an hour. We didn't have time to have 2 people put in their codes.
Here we go. How about, normally it would require the senior officers, but they reprogrammed it because Janeway's like, I'm not letting the Maquis in on this decision process.
Well, then it could have been her and Tuvok and Harry.
Yeah, but Tuvok
Harry-
would always be trying to set it off.
Harry
and
would flee and you would never see him.
And
Look.
Harry's a fucking ensign, okay?
He'd
I don't
hide
get
under
why
his
Harry's
bed.
so important.
They let Chekhov
do it.
fill
He was
in
an
Star Trek 3.
Well, he wasn't
but
an ensign then.
he'd been around for decades at that point.
It's
But also,
still
wasn't he a
Chekhov.
captain or a commander or something by then?
Commander, because he'd been the first officer of the Reliant.
So, there you go.
Works for me. No, it doesn't, but whatever. I just wanted to make fun of that because it was bonkers.
Yeah, I think it's just
Dreadnought.
inconsistent, yeah.
Deeply.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't have too many thoughts about this episode, to be honest. But
Yeah, I like the
was
games
fine.
B'Elanna was playing. That was some good B'Elanna work for
Yeah.
see Torres do some things. It's also very similar to Prototype, so it's a little tricky of her having to destroy the thing that she built and
Yeah.
in a
and it's very...
not entirely similar way. It's in an entirely different way, but it's still a similar plot.
Yeah. Also, I know a few weeks ago, I was kind of horrified by the treatment of the corpse of the caretaker. I would like to rescind my horror. Fuck that guy. Because he pulled this super weapon into the Delta Quadrant, and, like, rather than be like, I should probably turn this off, just went, oh, nobody on it. I guess I'll send it on its merry way. What a
Yeah.
fuckface.
Yeah, that confused me. Why he dragged that thing in from the Alpha or Beta or wherever the hell they were quadrant, because the Federation
Alpha.
split down the middle is the thing.
Yeah, but I think the Badlands are in the Alpha Quadrant.
I don't know. I've seen different maps and they're all laid out slightly differently. In many maps, Earth is in the Beta quadrant, and I'm like, this is confusing. But yeah, like, why would he bring something in that isn't organic? If he's looking specifically for something to replace him.
I mean, presumably his little tether would just grab whatever it could, and he didn't know till it got there what was on it.
Oh, maybe, okay.
But still, you think the minute he was like, I'm sure when he saw it, he was like, oh, no one's on it. Oh my god, it's basically a bomb with an engine. That's fine. I'm just gonna let it loose. I mean, what if it did hit his precious Ocampa homeworld, the dumb fuck? Glad
I
he's
like that.
dead.
I like the idea that the caretaker's just like fishing and like casting his reel into the Alpha Quadrant, and occasionally pulls out a boot.
Yeah, and that's exactly. This was a boot with some TNT inside.
Whoops.
Man,
the good old TNT boot.
That is a much less wholesome version of Animal Crossing. If occasionally the boot just
Oh,
has
no.
dynamite in it, you gotta like.
Yeah, but this wasn't even like a crazy doomsday bomb. It was just a shitload of matter and a shitload of antimatter. And I guess the idea is when it hits something, the
two of
they
them will
smash
mix.
together. Like I was expecting it to be, triglorabentene bomb or something.
Here's the thing. It's a Cardassian weapon. They're not going to be all stupid and Romulan about it and have it be like powered by wishes and black holes. They're going to go, hey, matter and antimatter, easy, straightforward fucking bomb. Let's do it.
I'm just imagining the Rube Goldberg machine of a Romulan weapon and how it would fail every single time.
Oh yeah, no, like the fuse would totally involve like a Romulan hamster in a wheel.
Until they finally make an OK Go video about it.
Yeah. Romulan hamsters are green and have pointy ears, by the way.
Cute.
Do they actually? So, why would they need to put antimatter in the missile and not, matter in the missile and not just antimatter? Because presumably,
The missile's made
whatever
of
it
matter.
hits is going to be made out of matter.
Yeah, it's a good point.
They
Could've
just
put
had
twice
some
as much
matter
in.
lying around.
I mean, yeah, they built a ship out of it.
It's like in Futurama when they want to get rid of their trash, so they shoot it into space. They're like, we just put our trash in this missile, and we'll never have to deal with it again.
That's a good episode.
No, it was also really good to see a lot of the interior design of the missile was very Cardassian.
Yeah.
I missed
nailed
those
that.
view screens. They're so nice.
All those angles and all that bronzy, browny, brassy,
I love
brashish
it.
color.
And the little data rods.
Yep, the root
Okay,
beer
those I
rods.
could do without, but
And, of course, because they're the Cardassians, don't worry, they had a subroutine just in case this very thing happened.
which thing being this very thing?
The ship getting hijacked and reprogrammed.
Oh, you meant that it had a backup.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, that thing that they had.
Yeah, but
Which-
it didn't work. She had to specifically enable it.
Yeah, but still, again, like I said to Caitlin, of course they have a backup because they're like Romulans if they weren't idiots. Romulans wouldn't have bothered having a backup. They'd have just had even more gerbils or hamsters, whatever I said earlier.
Less
Trash.
backup, more we're back.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
That was good.
Thank you.
I also love that the Doomsday Machine is so polite in that every time
It
B'Elanna
is.
comes over, it's like, how are you doing today? I'm
Did you
going to
sleep
kill
good
you.
last night, kiddo?
The question is, did she add that, or had that weirdly been just part of its program?
Oh my goodness. That's what Gul Dukat would have been saying, so yeah.
Yeah. Was there a B plot? I don't think there was.
There
was
were...
something about a baby.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right.
Wildman is trying to come up with a name for the baby thing.
Yeah, that's right.
And and we actually bring back up the fact that the doctor's been looking for a name, so at least that hasn't been dropped entirely. It'll get dropped again, I'm sure, and go away for a bit. But I guess he's still deeply, deeply considering names and just hasn't found one he likes.
It was upset Cass didn't suggest her father's name to him, which is, I don't know, a little weird if you assume he is kind of into her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can't have it both ways, buddy.
Yeah.
Can't have dad's name and want to do her.
Was this also the one with the, Tom Paris subplot that didn't really go anywhere or do anything?
Yeah, because we learn a couple
the one where
things.
he, showed up rumpled and late?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because there's that, and
Was
then
he just
someone...
kind of bratty.
Was he
And
just
someone
fucking or what? Sorry, Ames, go ahead.
It's okay, it's fine. And then someone says, oh yeah, and he got in a tiff with Rollins earlier, which I didn't realize Rollins was still alive, because we met him in Caretaker, and I assumed he was dead. He was the one played by our good friend Tosk. He was the tactical officer.
Oh, that weird. Yeah, I assumed he was dead too.
I thought he was super dead.
Why would we assume he was dead?
Because I thought they showed him being super dead, but maybe not.
I think that
Maybe
was
he's got
the
a
other
brother?
guy. Oh, that must be it. Yeah, there's just the ship is full of Rollinses and also what are the two sisters? The Delaney sisters. Rollinses and Delaney's all around.
Here's the thing. Whatever else was going on with Tom, getting into a fight with a guy because he was being pissy about your punctuation, that's justified.
Nope, I'd get
I'm sorry.
pissy. I'd get pissy about his punctuation. Fucking Tom.
Nope, I'm on Tom's side on this one. Also, I'm confused because I would have assumed they just do text to speech for their reports. I mean, speech to text.
That's true.
So, if anything, they should be like, "What the fuck, computer?"
Yeah, really, it's the computer who's being the brat, not the Paris.
I never imagined they sat down and actually typed their reports because if you look at their little, their little laptops, they don't have keyboards. They've got 3 little panels that I assume have whatever you need pop up, and then a sort of a spacebar looking one. But I don't know. Imagine.
But you don't know. Maybe it's like a handwriting input. Maybe you just write on a little pad.
Oh god, that's even worse.
You are expected to go back through the transcription and add punctuation.
Oh, that's even.
Listen, they don't even teach cursive in schools anymore.
Oh, we've had this argument so many times.
Kids can't read the Constitution.
You said this in the episode I just posted this week.
I know. It's a callback.
But you sounded a lot like Gilbert Gottfried this time, so I say keep it up.
I mean, it's going to stay, and I'm not editing this episode.
Anyway, the other thing that we see come up again, other than Paris being slightly insubordinate or something, which, as I said in Threshold, don't know if that's where his character would be developing after Threshold.
Yeah, it's a weird choice.
Yeah, but the other thing I wanted to bring up is we see Michael Jonas again. The guy, the ex-Maquis who's been talking with the Kazon, radioing them and saying, "Hey, there's this Dreadnought missile. The Kazon might find it useful."
Oh, yeah.
And I am so not interested in Jonas because all we see of him is the couple of times when he talks to his Kazon friend
handler there.
Yeah, and it's I don't get your character arc. I don't see anything about you that's developing. All I see is that this is a thing that the writers think that they're reminding us is a plot line that's going on over several episodes without it actually seeming like it's building.
Yeah,
No,
it's are you episodic?
Evil.
Are you episodic or not, Voyager? Make up your mind.
Yeah,
Both.
I think it's some stuff. If you notice, whenever he makes those calls, he's always got the lights off in the room.
Yep.
And that's how you know it's real.
Yep. We're down.
Real
we're
shady,
down with,
whatever he's doing.
I
'Cause
really
he's
am
pantsless.
I'm disappointed the call didn't start with, do you know how many fucking lizards we have running around the ship right now because of your Warp 10 fuckery? How do we
Klingons
turn them
wouldn't turn
back?
into lizards. They'd turn into
Oops.
coral reefs
Ah.
Coral reefs.
because their heads.
Oh.
Crabs. Everyone's turning into crabs.
Crabination.
Oh, man, we're back to the crabination.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to
That has
share
been-
that now.
Sadly, that's been a running joke all week.
Yeah, it really has.
And by sadly, I guess I mean not sadly.
Makes you look at Dr. Zoidberg a whole new way.
He's a lobster, apparently.
and also, no, it doesn't.
And on your shirt.
Yes. Yes.
It's like in the Charlie Brown Christmas special when Pigpen is like, kind of makes you think of me a little differently, doesn't it? If I was a little red-haired, curly-haired girl, I'd be like, no, it doesn't, you fucking slob.
Being fair, she is like,
A cunt? Ooh, shit. Can't say that on this show.
wow.
A bitch?
She is pretty awful. Like, I forget her name. Violet, maybe? She's terrible, though. She is.
Who? I don't know what we're talking about.
She's the girl
about
from
the Peanuts,
that
sorry.
always goes on about her naturally
Oh.
curly hair.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
I don't really
awful.
know much about the Peanuts.
Me either, just the
I know
Christmas
there's
special,
the
really.
one that had the kid that's got the hair or doesn't have hair or kind of has like a little bit of hair.
That's a
Charlie
Charlie
Brown?
Linus?
The main character?
Yes, that's one. He wears a yellow shirt.
That's one.
Charlie Brown. Anyway, yeah, like I said, this one, it for some reason just didn't grab me in a big way. Maybe again, like you said, Ames, it's just kind of too. Didn't we just do this with Prototype, although
A little
slightly
bit.
differently? I don't know if that was it or just like I don't know. It just didn't. I can't put my finger on why, but I was kind of like, this is fine, but I'm kind of bored.
Was it in this point when we were watching that I was just kind of like, you know what my problem with this show is that none of the characters are interesting?
Yes, it is.
Because, I mean, like, Janeway's alright.
Mm-hmm. I love that she
And-
wants to go down with the ship. That was hardcore.
Yeah,
It
I thought
was.
that was pretty cool. And, like, I guess Kess is okay.
Yeah.
And, like, the
they've
doctor's
developed
okay.
a couple of the people, and some people they haven't done a thing with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
like,
some time.
Chakotay's just really boring. He's just there to, I don't know, say some, like, bullshit mystical shit sometimes. Paris is there to be, I don't know, like, ostensibly kind of like a bad boy, but like a hooker with a heart of gold
I'm
kind
thinking,
of way,
I'm
which
hoping
I just don't care about.
long-term redemption arc is where I want to go with him.
But, like, I don't even feel like he really needs to be redeemed. He's just kind of a douche bro. But, like,
He
I
got
don't
some
feel like...
people killed.
Yeah, but they
well,
were asking for it.
Were they?
I have no idea.
I don't really remember.
I mean, here's
but
the thing.
I just... Ugh.
If they were Starfleet brass, there is a 50-50 chance they were going to turn evil.
That's a
That's
good
true.
point.
That's true.
Sorry,
But yeah,
you were
to
saying?
what you were saying,
Ah,
Caitlin, like
I
it
don't
makes me wish that they kind of embraced the Maquis thing and how the characters on the ship who are Maquis, like, you know, it was nice to see B'Elanna see something from her Maquis days and see, oh, this is a thing I did because we were trying to destroy some Cardassian stuff, which makes sense for her character, but we don't really see a lot of growth from that or a lot of like inner conflict or like external conflict between people about the
Yeah.
Maquis anymore.
Yeah, like she's already just like, I feel bad I did this. Like there isn't a moment of, I mean, it sucks that it's blowing up in my face, no pun intended. But do
With
I
my voice.
regret what my initial idea was? I mean, and the problem is the reason she kind of feels bad anyway is because Chakotay was mad at her about it
Because she made Chakotay feel bad. Which,
'Cause
He wasn't
imagine
mad at her.
giving
He
a
was
shit.
disappointed.
Which
'Cause it-
I hate. Like,
Yeah.
if I could summarize, like, people that annoy me, it's exactly that. It's the I'm fucking not mad, I'm disappointed crowd. It's like, listen, Chakotay, you're not my fucking father.
I mean, I gotta say it, too, because again, like, I think I mentioned this either last week or 2 weeks ago, but, like, this show is kind of cowardly and draws a line between good, quote-unquote, and bad, quote-unquote, terrorists. And Chakotay's clearly a good terrorist. And it's just like, really?
Mm.
Well, but I mean, the series as a whole kind of has a history of doing that anyway.
Well,
Yeah,
but
feel
Kira
like-
Nerys.
Beverly had her friends, the good terrorists, maybe. And
Well,
yeah,
that's-
Kira, of course, was
Well,
a good
that-
terrorist.
but that's the
but
thing.
she hung out with lots of bad terrorists.
we liked Kira, but the show never denied that she did some stuff that she has justified to herself, but a lot of other people look at it and go, hold on. And yeah, and like the episode with Beverly, like, even that one's a slightly better example, because again, there's, I mean, I think the difference there is just that it kind of did both sidesism, where it's like, I mean, yeah, the terrorists aren't great, but then again, neither is the government they're fighting. It's like,
Well,
Yeah.
I also think that like they're trying to set up Chakotay and his crew as being the principled moral, like they are the Starfleet of the Maquis.
yeah, that's a good way to
Because
put it.
while like you got Eddington out there doing all kinds of crazy shit,
And Jonas
that's
being
called-
a dick.
That's called being cool, Jake, what Eddington
Right.
did.
yeah, because he always did it smoking a cigarette.
Mhm.
But you know, Chakotay, like his whole thing is, oh, you know, we're just trying to get our homes back, and you know, we think this was a bad treaty, and we're going to attack a military target.
The problem I have with Chakotay, aside from, like, let's take all the racist shit away.
Good.
Like,
Good luck.
let's just put that aside, because that's obvious. The problem with Chakotay is when he's not just there to, like, be a caricature of Native Americans, he is the most bland motherfucker. I do not believe this man would have joined the Maquis, no matter how badly the Cardassians killed his father. Chakotay would have written a strongly worded letter to the Cardassians.
And never sent it.
to the Cardassians manager.
Yeah, expressing his displeasure, and yes, Ames, he ultimately would look at it and go, let me sleep on this, it feels a little harsh.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it under my pillow until I'm ready.
Like, and like, supposedly his crew really respected him, but every time you turn around, the Maquis that aren't main characters are like, this isn't the Maquis way. It's like, according to Chakotay, it is? Like, it's so constantly contradictory.
I mean, he did punch that guy that one time.
Which
That's a
again,
good punch.
though, doesn't feel like is how he normally did things, though, even though he claimed, like, it cannot decide on what the Maquis way was. Chakotay is tedious.
Well, I just think that they wasted an opportunity in this show.
Definitely.
I mean, they've wasted numerous opportunities in this show, let's be real. But I think one of the big ones is the whole idea that you have these two crews that normally would be enemies
Yep.
Mm.
having to work together, but from the off, I mean, yeah, there's been a couple of incidents. I mean, you have Seska, you have some people that have been insubordinate, but for the most part,
Chell. That fucker Chell.
goddamn Chell, if only he could run 100 meters, he would take over
not
the
very
ship.
far.
Look, to my fat ass, it is.
Yeah, with the gravity up a little.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so I don't know. I think that there was plenty of opportunity for actual drama. And you don't have to break, I know they, at this time, they were still very much like, oh, you gotta do the Roddenberry thing. Oh, nobody can hate each other. I think that they could have done some more work to show the differences between the philosophies of the crew and actually had Chakotay and Janeway maybe on occasion, like, actually butt heads and again, they've done it here and there, but it's always resolved pretty damn quickly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and the butting of heads really doesn't even feel much like even though they try to frame it as like, you're being too Starfleet, you're being too Maquis.
And then they laugh and have hot fudge later.
Yeah, it very easily could have been, you're being too by the book, you're being too not by the book.
By fewer
Like,
remember
Yeah, like, it doesn't
Go
necessarily
by
have
the
to-
book doesn't go far enough.
Yeah, yes, good reference. Another good episode. But yeah, I remember, I don't remember if I've said this on air or not, I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but not long before we got to Voyager, I actually read an interview with one of the, like, people behind the show, who said, like, to him, the biggest mistake they made was, and he had objected to it, but he was overruled, was putting the Maquis into Starfleet uniforms.
Ooh, that's a good point.
He was like, let them
Because they
work.
did that in the very, very first episode.
Yeah, he was like, I mean, yeah, they have to work together, but
They need to wear
felt-
something.
there should have been a visual distinction to
They
really,
have a different
like,
pip.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's what
very,
they get.
Very damn subtle. And like a few times, and we haven't seen it yet, but I know at some point there's an episode where we kind of get like an alternate reality sort of thing where we see like what it would be like if the crews were not as united. And they actually, for that episode, they actually did have the Maquis characters wearing not even uniforms, just like
Naked.
their clothes
Oh.
that they wear, you know?
Well, I think that's what that producer wanted. Like, keep them in their sort of rough and tumble Maquis outfits. And
Yeah. I mean, Neelix gets to wear whatever garbage he's wearing, and Kess gets to wear her special clothes.
oh, you loved her new outfit.
Did I?
Yeah, you because you didn't get a great look at it in the first episode, but the next week you get a much better look at it, and you liked it a lot. Her most recent suit.
Yeah, I generally like Kess's outfits are all very like teen cute. Like the kind of stuff you would see like people not people in actual high schools, but people in like television high schools.
Played by 30-year-olds.
Basically, yeah.
But they also have the advantage of, at least so far, I don't think I've looked at any of them and thought, ooh, yeah, that is a 90s ass outfit. Like, they keep them alien enough that
Yeah, she likes layers. Layers are in.
Yeah.
Are totally in.
Yeah, and they do. I think they've dressed her very well. And Neelix, to, paraphrase Beetlejuice, looks like a couch. Sofa. No, it's not Beetlejuice. It's the guy from Beetlejuice when he's in Demolition Man. Sorry.
Oh,
You should watch Demolition Man.
It's a fucking good movie.
Yeah.
I feel like Jellica would really not approve of her clothing, though.
Of course not.
Yes,
Again,
she's
she's not Starfleet.
that's
she just
true,
works
yeah.
on the ship.
Yeah.
At the
she's
same
not-
time, the
and she's
Maquis
not on the
aren't
bridge.
Starfleet either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he would not approve of.
Jellica would make the Maquis wear like rags and shit.
No, Jellicoe would put the Maquis in the brig for the entire trip.
He would.
Love
They
him.
would just be crammed in there like sardines.
That'd probably be better.
And
They'd
he'd want
escape every so often.
5 shifts now. He's moved on to 5-shift
no.
rotation.
And Ames, that would be the new holodeck. They wouldn't have holodeck episodes anymore. They would have, oh noes, the Maquis have sprung from the brig.
Again. It's like,
Oh
we're
my
not even
goodness.
trying to break out. It's just there's so many of us in there. The ship's computer keeps turning off the shield for safety. We're going to get smothered.
Yakety sax plays. Paris is chasing after them.
Kim's running away from a group of them. It's like Scooby-Doo. They're like...
Coming out of doors and going into other doors, but it's like...
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be fucking awesome. We should write Star Trek. We'd be great at it.
Oh no. Or at least lower decks.
Yes. Oh, well, yeah. Thanks, Ames, for that vote of confidence. You can write that shitty Star Trek. We'll let you have that.
I'm gonna write my own Star Trek.
Speaking of
with
shitty Star
better
Trek,
jokes and...
you know what I realized as we're going to start moving on towards Death Wish, I think, question marks, is this is going to be extra appropriate because the day that this episode's airing, so we haven't seen it yet, so don't spoil, is the premiere date for Picard Season 2.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
In which we
shit.
see our best friend, whom Jake is
Guinan.
going to tell us about.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So in our next episode, we'll be talking about Death Wish. Will Wheaton.
Classic Charles Bronson film.
Yep. Anyway, in this Death Wish, we're all hanging out on the Voyager. And I can't remember quite how this starts, but
They see an asteroid.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Comet?
We see
A comet.
Yeah, we see this very pretty asteroid comet thing.
I think it's actually the same comet that appears in the opening credits of Deep Space Nine. It's good to see it getting extra work.
Oh, look at there you go. It really gets around that comet.
It's like Jeffrey
fact-
Combs. It's playing a different comet.
Oh, okay.
It's hard not to get
Um,
typecast, out there for a comet.
That's true. You often end up playing comets.
Mhm.
But in any case, we spy this comet and we're like, oh, let's get a core sample because science. And so they beam up a bit of it, and instead of getting comet jizz, they get a guy, just
Bum,
some
bum, bum, bum.
rando.
Hi.
Wearing
In
a
a full Starfleet uniform, yeah.
Yeah, wearing a Starfleet captain's uniform. That's weird. And then he introduces himself as Q. But then you're watching the show and it's like, wow, was Delancey like on vacation when they shot this? Because that's a different guy. But no, we find out that this is a different Q. And he's been trapped in that comet, imprisoned by the continuum because he wanted to commit suicide. That's right. It's a Q episode, but it's fucking heavy.
Yeah.
So basically, come to find out that this guy, he's a Q. He's a member of the Q continuum. And he's been very dissatisfied with life as a Q. He's been doing it too damn long, and he's done all there is to do. So he just wants to end it. But that's against the rules in the Q continuum. So then he's like, hey, can you help me? And then Q shows up and is like, oh, Madam Capitan, we can't do this.
Delancey, we
then
love you.
So then they do this whole like weird chase thing where the sad Q tries to hide in different times and space. So he brings everybody to the beginning of the universe, and then they go into a Christmas tree for some reason, and they
were one of those collectible Hallmark ornaments.
Yeah, it was a great ad for those Hallmark ornaments, and I have that ornament. Yeah, so finally Janeway's like, stop it, you, stop fighting, stop fucking with my shit. And they're like, okay. And she's like, how about this? We'll offer Q asylum in the Federation. And do you agree to that, Q? And Q's like, yes, I agree to that. And then Q's like, okay, fine, I agree to that too. So then they have this little trial to determine if Q is eligible for asylum, but Q really doesn't want to grant Q.
This is not confusing at all.
Doesn't want Janeway to grant Q asylum.
In the script, they called them Q1 and Q2.
So they have this little trial where Tuvok is representing Q and Q is representing himself, and Janeway is the judge. And Q brings out some witnesses, and they are himself, where he makes a copy of himself to testify. And,
many Qs.
And then he brings in people who Q had affected, whose lives he had affected. So he summons Sir Isaac Newton, some dude, some rando.
Maury Ginsburg.
Ginsburg, who was the spotlight operator at the Woodstock Festival. And our old friend, William T. Riker.
Oh, I was hoping you would say Wesley.
Yeah, so he brings them all together, and they're like, what the fuck happened? Where are we? And Janeway's like, listen, let me explain this to you. And Riker's like, oh, wow, we thought you were dead, but I guess we're not going to talk much about that. We'll just act like this is fine. And nobody seems really freaked out about it, but it turns out that Q had done various things to help these people out. He's the one that threw an apple at Newton in that apocryphal story. He did I can't remember what he did. He helped Ginsburg plug in.
He helped him get to Woodstock.
Yeah,
he helped him get to Woodstock
car
so that he
ran down or something? Or?
Yeah.
So that he could plug in an electrical cable.
Yeah, he basically saved Woodstock by making sure that guy got there.
Which, like, really, did it need saving? Fuck that. And then Riker, well, he didn't directly help Riker. He helped Riker's great grandfather survive the Civil War, which led to Will Riker existing. So it was all very thin and a very stupid excuse just to get Riker onto the show.
Yep.
Still good to see him.
But in the end, Janeway rules in Q's favor and says, yep, you can have asylum.
Wait. We didn't go to the side of the road yet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot that whole
The
bit.
best part of the episode.
Kind of important.
Yeah, that's true. So Q's like, listen, I want to show you how fucking terrible it is to be a Q. So let me take you to the continuum. So he brings the Janeway and Tuvok to the continuum, or rather a version of the continuum that they could comprehend, which was a broken, rundown gas station in a desert. And everyone's all fucking sad and depressed looking, and it's all dust bowl shit. And he's like, look how can you imagine fucking living like this? How fucking awful this is. It's not fucking life. It's fucking terrible. We know everything there is to know. We've been everywhere there is to be. Why, things need to end. Things just need to end, producers of Discovery. And so they're there for a while. They chit chat and everything, and then Janeway's like, "Listen, I've made my ruling. Q, you're hereby granted asylum. Q, make him a human." So he does, and then he changes his name to Quinn, and then and Janeway's like, "Listen, Quinn, I know you only wanted to become human so that you could kill yourself, but listen, join my crew. You know everything there is to know in the universe, so that would be pretty cool to like have that as a resource. And it's not so bad being a human. You get to do human stuff, poop, eat, you can jerk off. You can do whatever you want.
Have you been to Sandrine's?
You can finger your own butthole. There's no limit to what you can do as a human. And Q considers it for a while, and then he kills himself. And that's the end.
Yeah. So interesting, briefly before we get into the heavy. Our friend Quinn, we have seen before.
Yeah, I saw that.
Under a shit ton of makeup. You know, we mentioned Tosk. He was one of the hunters.
Yeah.
He was the main hunter.
Oh, he was? Okay. That's a very different character. Also, for you 90s cartoon addicts, he was Jay Sherman's dad in The Critic.
What was that insane rock opera that James Rossi was telling us about, Jake?
Rossi was showing us Phantom of the Paradise.
Oh my God. Absolutely bonkers.
Right, he's in that. That's right. Because I was looking him up to see what else he'd been in. Because I was sure I recognized
ridiculous.
him.
I haven't seen it, but it's like it's a rock opera from the 70s that predates Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
But looks quite similar in many ways.
Paul Williams is in it, isn't he?
I think so.
But yeah, I had not in fact seen him in anything except for DS9 under a pile of makeup and his voice in The Critic, so I don't know why I thought I recognized him.
He's got one of those faces. He does look very familiar.
Yeah. My headcanon too for that scene where they're a Hallmark ornament is that they're actually in the Nexus during Picard's.
Okay.
Just because it's funny, not because it makes sense. Also, if Hallmark never made an ornament that was a little Q holding a tiny Voyager, they missed a trick.
Yeah.
I know they have the tiny Voyager, so.
Yeah. So this episode's like kind of a bummer.
It's really thought provoking, but it's also kind of in a place where I know this was made in 1996.
Yeah.
A lot of the arguments are a bit dated in a lot of ways, especially when you look at mental health efforts today.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, are you really suffering? It's like you're not only suffering if you're ill, Janeway.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a lot of that, you know, you look at and you say, wow, this was such the 90s argument for euthanasia.
Yeah. And I feel like we may have talked about this once before, but like, I feel like the Federation would be beyond that kind of thing and be fine with assisted suicide and
we
such.
saw in ethics that they very much were not, or at least all the characters in ethics were not when Worf's spine got crushed.
Yeah, and it doesn't really make sense because that's the ethics of the time of the writing, and they couldn't think beyond that. Or maybe the network was like, don't you fucking dare make them okay with this, which I could also see being a thing.
Yeah, but then they make a lot of very good arguments that make them okay with this, so... That's kind of fascinating.
Yeah. It is, you know, like, the one thing is, it does maybe feel like... I would maybe have liked to have seen Quinn struggle with the idea, like, well, I am mortal now, which means I will die eventually.
Which means I've only got, 20, 50 years left.
Which, from my perspective, is the blink of an eye. And it is a new experience, certainly, which is what I've been looking for. I mean, you know, not to take away, I don't want to...
From what I gather, though, is it a new experience? Because he's had so many kinds of experiences. These are just the human experiences. This is just where humans have developed to.
Yeah.
But the Q continuum has met everybody. And it's unclear how across time things are.
Yeah.
If they can go back to the beginning of the universe and forward in all good things and all this stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing that didn't quite make sense, was like, oh, he was incarcerated during the whole of Riker's life. And it's like, yeah, but time means nothing to a Q. I'm sure Q could have been bopping around the universe while he was also in the comet, you know?
Yeah, there could have been some overlap.
Yeah, like even if his personal time is linear, an earlier version of himself could have been there, you know? If that makes sense.
No, I think that makes sense. Write us if it doesn't make sense.
What I did enjoy, though, was that, you've got this Q who's here to immediately, be like, oh, everything other, original flavor Q has been saying, yeah, he's overselling us a little.
In terms of how omnipotent they are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
We're crazy powerful, yeah, but just from your perspective, we're kind of just... We're not gods. We're super powerful, but we're not, we are not quite as high as he tries to make us sound. And that's immediately kind of fascinating to see them kind of taken down a little bit. Also, I appreciate that the minute he introduces himself, Janeway calls for a red alert.
That was great. I loved that too.
It's like, yes, that is what you would do.
Quick, jettison Finney. Got a Q on board.
I saw
Right
that,
away.
by the way. That was amazing.
I saw, thank you. The other day's Merriam-Webster word of the day was jettison. And I was like,
Nice.
Finney! I was like, why is that word so familiar? Oh, right, because we
Ah.
use it all the time on the podcast. But no, for just where this episode came from, like, I know it was good. It was so good to see John Delancey Q, in a way where he wasn't just here to be a pest.
Yeah.
He was here for an actual, like, legitimate reason, not just, goofy Q shenanigans. Because I read that, they've been trying to figure out a way, because, you gotta have Delancey and Voyager. You've gotta have Q here somehow, but how in a way that isn't fully convoluted? And it was actually Michael Pillar's son, Sean, that came up with the idea to introduce a different Q to get John Delancey Q out here. And I thought that was great.
Good job,
And-
Michael Pillar's son.
Yeah.
The way it works, that it kind of boils down to the Q's arguing. And it's kind of like with Quinn, who I'm just going to call him that from now on to make our lives easier.
Probably for the best.
Is like, you fucking strain against this too. I want to kill myself. You became a trickster. Like, come on. Like, we basically agree. We just react to it differently. Our society has completely stagnated because we've done everything. And,
I started thinking, sorry if I'm cutting off another thought you had.
not really. I wasn't sure where to go
Perfect.
next.
That's my favorite kind. I started thinking, like, how and does the Prime Directive play in this? Because you're not supposed to get involved with the culture of other races. And this is, like, a very, very, like, significantly different race. You cannot you cannot wrap your brain around what their workings are. How can
Yeah.
Janeway make this decision? But I also realized there have been times where we've said the Prime Directive doesn't apply if the other race has stagnated, which is the biggest loophole they ever came up with. I forget what episode that was that they came up with that, but oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, but isn't usually the concern about, like, not giving them something, like some kind of technology that would have catastrophic effects on their society? Because in this case, we're not talking about society. They're way, way, way beyond our comprehension.
Well, that's one of the big aspects of it, and certainly, we don't want to do stuff like that, but there's still, depending on the episode, this element of we don't interfere politically even if they're on par with us technologically.
Yeah, I think that's part of the technology thing is like applies to civilizations that have more primitive technology versus among peers. The idea is you don't go in and fuck with their politics.
Yeah, or their culture.
But here's the thing. The argument, and that really is the argument, because Hugh Delancey argues that allowing Quinn to become human or become mortal and leave the continuum would constitute a political, cultural impact.
Yeah.
Whereas Quinn's just like, no, I just want to be human so I can die.
Yeah, and Quinn also says, good, the Q continuum could use an impact.
So I guess for Janeway, her challenge, and I don't think it's articulated this way, but I think part of it is that do the needs of this guy, does his well-being outweigh the impact of the Prime Directive in this situation?
What also complicates it is that he did specifically ask for asylum. And technically speaking, like, she admits, like, even though it's officially just an asylum hearing, she knows what the end result will be regardless. Like, on paper, she has to have the hearing for it being an asylum hearing. So it's become slightly complicated. It's sort of become a catch-22 in a way. Like, one thing sort of cancels out the other over and over and over. So it's just like, what the fuck do you do? And again, she even admits it. She has that speech like, I tried to just look at this as strictly what it is on paper, but I know it's not, and so on. But yeah, I guess, does the Prime Directive not apply when the species you're dealing with is so crazy advanced they look like magic? To paraphrase the Kevin Uxbridge episode, we have no law to fit your crimes.
Mhm.
I mean, let's be honest, John. You have no way to contain someone like him, even if you did. Like, law doesn't apply here. He is crazy powerful. Just let him be. But yeah, it is sort of, I guess, it could be seen as a Prime Directive issue. But I guess, again, if you're just trying to stop two Qs from blowing your ship up or whatever, you just kind of go, eh.
Yeah, and I think the other piece, which I found interesting in this episode, right, is that the Q kind of dangles the, if you rule in our favor,
Yeah, the bribe.
we can make something happen with this whole stuck in the Delta Quadrant thing.
Yeah.
I'd have taken that bribe. Oh boy.
I would have gone to Quinn and be like, "Hey, Quinn, if I rule in your favor, will you, before you transform into a human, why don't you ship us off to old planet Earth?"
Sorry,
like that's an offer that
That's a quid pro quo.
Sure, who cares? Okay, who fucking cares? See, this is Janeway's problem. If Chakotay were captain, like if Janeway had the shits that week and Chakotay had to deal with this, they would have been home and they all would have been rich.
Here's the problem, though. We know Quinn is out of practice, so with their luck, he'd have gone like woo, and they'd have appeared above Earth, but it would be like 1914, and oh no, your dilithium is melted, so you can't just slingshot around the sun to get to the right time.
Oh man, when he made a mistake doing a thing, and then all the men disappeared, my first thought was, the men!
See, I didn't connect until they said it that it was just the men who had vanished, so...
I read it in the synopsis, so I realized, that's what happened, and it is a definite the Cage-type moment where the men have disappeared, and I'm not seeing a problem here.
Now, the question is, did the Doctor disappear?
Well, he's not a person.
Yeah.
But
he's not tangible.
True. I will say, though, speaking as a man, it's like, the men have vanished, and I'm just like, sounds fine. What's the problem? Ship will probably be run better now because they won't be running around having pissing contests.
Yeah, but here's the thing: their cycles are going to align, and then you have to shut down the ship for a week.
I don't think men know. That joke is so old because men don't know what it means.
Of course not.
Speaking of sexism, it was a little weird that original Flavor Q was weirdly sexist for a bit. I was like, are they just using him to make fun of the fanboys who were bitching about a female captain? Are they going meta right now?
Was it like when he was being creepy or just...
Well, no, at first...
I was just going to say, he continued to be sexist. He just decided to go with a sexual harassment bent instead of...
Let's be fair, he always sexually harasses the captain.
You're right. True. In this case, this is just gender equality. You're right.
This is the second time a captain has woken up next to Q in bed.
Yeah.
But Picard stayed in bed. Janeway left.
Yeah. The only captain he didn't sexually harass was Sisko, because Sisko punched him in the head the minute they met.
Sisko had the right idea.
But at first he was like, oh, wow, a woman captain, and stuff he was weirdly looking down on women, which didn't feel like a Q. He looks down on people.
That's true. Yeah, I don't think the Q should feel like that.
He wouldn't, it's he looks down on humans as silly little things, but like I said, I think it was sort of a meta moment. I think they were kind of...
Yeah, I think that was probably what they were going for. The joke didn't age well.
No, because
it doesn't look... It's not a great look now.
No, but and also it's weird to just use Q for meta humor like that.
Yeah.
It just feels inconsistent with everything else he did felt like Q, including sexually harassing the captain. But yeah, that was a little weird, and I could have done without it.
I really... And maybe this just is me being bothered, but the fact that they brought up that old Apple Isaac.
Oh yeah, that was so dumb.
I was like, that didn't even really fucking happen.
Right? It's it's well known that story is apocryphal.
Oh, you should have got George Washington. You could have been like, remember who caught you chopping down that cherry tree? Get the fuck out of here.
They could have had him be the guy that interrupted Coleridge for some reason. If he'd finished that poem, something terrible would have happened.
Yeah, there's plenty of legitimate historical events that you could say that you could make a joke that the Q was responsible for, but Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. So far, the show has given us Amelia Earhart was both a spy for the Allies and abducted by aliens, a twofer.
And her co-pilot was in love with her.
Yep. At least some Native Americans have alien DNA floating around. And now we've got Isaac Newton in the apple. This show just loves weird conspiracy / apocryphal bullshit.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, okay, the Native American thing and the Amelia Earhart thing, it's like, okay, those could be retcons, right? But the fucking Newton thing is just, it's
a lie,
already,
yeah.
It's already a thing that people know about, and it's already a thing that people know is horseshit.
Yeah, it is intensely stupid. What I was also kind of irked by was...
You know what they should have done? They should have had Adam show up and been like, remember that snake that offered you an apple? Did he look like this?
Wow.
That would have been actually hilarious.
Now I'm just picturing a snake with Quinn's hair.
Yeah, with that guy's head on it. It's fucking hysterical.
No, just the hair.
Oh, his hair.
Yeah, just his hair. What also kind of annoyed me was having the hippie with the surname Ginsburg. I know it was the actor's real name, but, like, you've got a character who's kind of a hippie.
Yeah, I thought for sure it was going to be, Alan?
Yeah, like, don't have him share a surname with one of the most famous beat poets.
Well, yeah,
like,
with a famous
poet. I know you just want to name after the actor for some reason, but you should have gone...
They liked the name. They just liked his name.
No, I know, but it's like you should have gone, oh, wait a minute, there's a famous Ginsburg who's already kind of part of the counterculture.
These aren't this kind of nerds. You know?
Like, this seems like a bad choice.
Mm.
Speaking of our guest star friends, I have a list of other guest stars they were trying to get or considered trying to get in addition or instead of any of the ones we actually saw.
Oh.
And they're fun. They include Michael Jordan, Cal Ripken Jr., Bill Gates,
oh no,
Henry Kissinger, and Frank Sinatra.
Kissinger.
The
what
war
fucking,
criminal?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what fucking thing did unless it's remember that time you got murdered? Like, nothing. Oh god.
Kissinger hasn't been murdered.
No, I know, but if Quinn was doing his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also considered having Geordi instead of Riker. But settled on Riker.
Well, that's a better choice.
I gotta say, on the one hand, while it's thin and silly to just find a way, like it's a reason Riker's here, like, it kind of adds a potential extra layer to why Q had a special interest in the Enterprise. Like, there's already, it turns out, retroactively a Q connection.
Yeah, but Q's love is for Jean-Luc.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what sort of initially especially considering Riker's the one he makes a Q. Like, he was originally drawn because of the connection to Riker, but then, fell in love with Jean-Luc and his big shiny dome.
You know who they should have brought instead of Newton? Would have been they should have brought Samuel Clemens back.
I was gonna say Mike Mark
had the same actor.
No, this was a good episode.
You again? Oh
no, that would ruin this episode.
This would have automatically been Chris's favorite episode this season,
and my least favorite.
So the question though is, if could they would the Michael Jordan thing have been?
Remember when we turned you away from baseball because it was a stupid idea?
No. See, I was gonna say Quinn. It's like he's the one who came up with the idea for Space Jam, which I think had come out just around this time or was about to. It would have been a great tie-in.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they could have done, if they wanted to do like a sports person, they could have done like Muhammad Ali or something. That would have been, because I feel like bringing Michael Jordan in as sort of, because he was already a great player and everything at this point. I guess he was already pretty much legendary at this point. But anyway,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like bringing a current sports celebrity it's like the Elon Musk reference.
Yeah,
you never know if Michael Jordan's going to turn into an asshole, or if Bill Gates is going to turn into an asshole. But like, you go with Muhammad Ali, no one ever hated Muhammad Ali
except the government when he didn't want to go.
I was going to say government people probably weren't that into him.
Well, but that's fine.
Yeah, you could have maybe just found an athlete who already passed on and have an actor play them or something.
Yeah, but if they were trying to get like a
why you'd want to
celebrity
do that
cameo, I guess.
I don't know why you'd want to do that when they were able to get the Isaac Newton. Jeez.
I know.
It wasn't the same Isaac Newton we've seen before either, though.
But
that because this was the real one.
was a holodeck projection.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, this guy was the real deal.
They should have gotten Hawking. He'd been on before.
That's true.
You'd probably been like, I'll be on Star Trek again. Sure, fuck, why not? Quinn's like, sorry I gave you that horrible, debilitating disease.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Fuck
Yikes.
Well, I just realized as soon as I said it,
Yikes.
like, I'm not sure what the thing would have been, but it's like, he could really...
I mean, he
couldn't-
could have,
say-
like, given him some clue about physics, right? Because,
That's true, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
black holes or something. I don't know.
They're actually just Q toilets.
I guess the other thing, too, is, like, it's kind of like with the Native American episode. How much do we want to diminish the accomplishments of people like Newton by saying that it was aliens?
Well, I think the difference here is that he just kind of gives little nudges.
Mm.
Also, it's weird because it's like with the Woodstock thing, it's almost like he was making sure something happened that was supposed to, as opposed to, you know, like that's the
Maybe
weird
he just
thing.
really likes music.
Hendrix.
Yeah, he wanted that. He wanted
Big
to see
Hendrix fan.
Yeah, I was gonna say he really liked Hendrix. So he's sort of like Doctor Who, having to make sure that things happen. even
Dr.
if-
Q.
No. I have another note because apparently this episode, like, they just wrote way too much script because it was too fun. And very sadly, it meant a lot of jokes got cut. And one of them that I wrote down that would have been a good joke, a good, very inside joke, would have been like, oh, without, or if I'd had my way or without me or something like that, Tuvok, you would have been the engineer of the Enterprise. Which is quite funny because Tim Russ auditioned for the role of Geordi.
Yeah, I see what they
So,
did there.
deep cut.
Speaking of, I don't know if you noticed this on his Memory Alpha page, but Quinn's actor tried out for Odo.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I think they had to give it to Renee, though. Renee was perfect.
Oh, yeah, no, he was, yeah, no.
I wrote in my notes, puppies greater than Mark, and I don't remember why.
Oh, because there was a Q dog.
Well, there was a Q dog, and when Q is dangling the
Right, you're
the
right.
carrot, he's like, "Oh, you can run
Run
and
with the
frolic
puppies."
with your dog."
And Mark won't even be there because it will be me. And Jane was like, but you said puppies, so yes.
So, was that dog also a Q?
Yes.
I mean, so that's the thing, right? I'm assuming
Scooby Q,
a Q
am I
can
right?
take whatever form
Mm.
he wants.
Yeah.
Like Odo.
Yeah. Better at faces, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say way better at noses.
Like,
No.
if we don't oh god, it'll happen on lower decks. If we don't ever get a Q that is a talking dog, I'll be very sad.
They already have a talking dog on lower decks.
God damn it, is it a Q, though?
No, it's not a Q, but we also had Q on lower decks.
That I knew,
There's a talking dog on lower decks?
apparently. Oh, we've all done the scarecrow thing. That was
That's good. I loved that.
like they were just chilling.
That was
They
really
probably
funny.
like, yeah, they for a while, like, what's a while mean to a Q? He might have spent 1,000 years as a
several
scarecrow.
lifetimes.
Oh, that, right. The most important thing. The fact that he was a philosopher. Like, just the idea that the Q do still have some concept of, like, or at some point still had a concept of, like, vocations? Not vocations. But, you like, to be a philosopher, you know? Like, not... That immediately also helps really reshape their concept, the concept of them. Because, again, all we've really seen to this point is original flavor Q.
Troublemaker at large.
Yeah, and he'd mentioned stuff about the continuum, and they made him human for a few days and things like that. But, like...
They killed, what was her name? The girl Q. They killed her parents. Amanda
Yes.
Rogers.
Yep, they've executed Q. But yeah, the idea that they have, like, philosophers still, it kind of begs the question, what other sort of things might they have had? And because you just sort of picture, like, whatever they are, they probably all just kind of bum around the galaxy, like, universe, rather. Maybe not interfering like original flavor Q, but just kind of going around observing, chilling out, occasionally being Quinn and nudging things. But the idea that there had been sitting around and debating and sharing ideas, it's not necessarily something I thought of the Q as doing. And so it's
Yeah.
really like this in very little time, without laying too much out in a very blatant way, makes you realize that the Q are in some ways way more complicated than we thought, in that they're less complicated than we thought in some regards.
I like that. I liked this episode. They did a good job this episode.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
And yeah, being a Q does sound like, I don't know. On the one hand, unlimited cosmic power. On the other hand, God, it's
Itty-bitty-
boring.
Itty-bitty living space?
Yeah, no, I realized like that doesn't quite work. They got all the space they want unless you're Quinn in a comet.
That was an itty bitty living space.
That was, yeah. But yeah, no, I remember when it popped up, I was saying to Caitlin, like, yeah, this is going to be a Q episode, but it's going to be different.
Well, and also you said that you weren't sure whether or not it
because I haven't seen it in so long. I was like, I know what it's going to do. I don't remember if it lands. And I'd say it landed.
I thought so. I liked it a lot. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah.
I will say that I thought that the way that they chose to show how the continuum is, I thought was a little bit but I guess I kind of get what they were going for.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think it would have been hard to do any way, and I feel like that one worked well enough. Oh, shit! Most important thing.
The dog.
No. Second most important thing.
Damn.
Original flavor Q brought Quinn his hemlock.
He did, yeah.
Which also, philosopher taking hemlock. I see what you did there.
Yeah, the last sort of speech from Q after Quinn is dead is interesting.
Yeah. Like,
and we're also going to see more of him later on, too, and the repercussions.
Yeah,
I forget how well the repercussions land. They might be Q being silly again.
I vaguely recall aspects of it. Again, I don't remember how well it works because it's been so long. But there will be at least one fun aspect to it, but I shan't spoil.
No, there's 2 episodes. There's 2 more Q episodes.
Yeah, but I mean, there's an aspect of them that I don't wish to spoil, but that I think we will enjoy.
Oh, Christ.
That I remember.
I wonder what it is. We'll find out in a couple of months.
It's another actor. I'll leave it at that.
Oh, okay. If it's another okay, that makes sense. I was going to say. Chris really, really likes it when Q plays dress up.
Who doesn't?
That's true. One day, for one of them, we will talk about all the times Q plays dress up.
Oh, that's a great idea.
For our blog activities, but not today, because I'm going to wait until we see more of them, because I know there's some good ones coming up. But today, let's segue speedily into our blog activity for today. I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago that one of the things I've been looking at, way too much, because I didn't realize how much work this theme would be.
Whoops.
But I've been looking at so many captain's chairs. Yeah, so originally I thought, this will be an easy topic just to squeeze in wherever. Captain's chairs. And then I found, I swear to Christ, like 30 freaking captain's chairs. So we're gonna split it in half. We're just gonna
chairs.
That's what I heard also.
Accurate. So we're just gonna start with some early captain's chairs because I didn't realize how many there would be. And right now, you can follow along with us because we're looking at the TOS captain's chair, and this is going to be up on our Tumblr, SSHB podcast, so you can follow along.
Classic. Everyone loves it.
No, it's
You know, though, that red alert button's too close to the yellow alert button, and the Genesis button is too close by far to both of them.
The buttons are incredibly jank.
Yep, it's a great chair. It's a classic. It set the standard.
It swivels.
It swivels.
It does swivel, yeah.
It's got a fucking sweet little platform.
Yeah, when they wanted to pretend it was a different ship, they added an extra cushion that time.
It is incredibly clear that they just had a very normal leather chair that they built some things around and called it a day. But you know what? It was the 60s, so it's fine.
Yeah,
I kind of like that about it, though, you know?
Some standard, office chair.
The thing is, and we'll get into this, but I feel like, while that's true of many of them, this one, for some reason, just, I mean, they added enough to make it different enough that it doesn't have that sort of feel.
Yeah.
Like the shape that it makes. The shape that it makes, is so different than just a chair. And I know a lot of the chairs we're going to look at in a couple minutes. Boy, do they just look like you ripped them straight out of an airplane.
Yeah.
Or an Indy car, and that's it. That's what you got.
Even though 5 is not a good movie, I have to agree with Kirk when he sits down and goes, I miss my old chair.
But which chair is he referring to in that movie?
I assumed he meant this one.
Oh, okay, because we have so many chairs that Kirk has sat in that I was surprised. Because I assumed it'll be like, oh, okay, I'll get the TOS chair, I'll get the Next Gen chair, every series has a chair. But no, every single movie has a different chair, which I didn't realize until I started banging my head against this. So when we move on to the motion picture, with the chair that has these little thigh holsters that kind of squish your thighs.
Yeah.
This chair looks like it actually gives massages.
I feel like it's interesting. I feel like it's not at all the same shape or anything.
Not even a little bit.
But I feel like this gets echoed in Picard's chair a little. Like, sort of
Which one?
His initial...
The TNG chair?
Yeah, we'll discuss it when we get to that one, but...
Okay.
I feel like there's
I see
shades
nothing
of
akin to it.
Yeah, I might also be misremembering what his chair looks like, but...
We'll get to it in a minute. But no, I think Caitlin puts it a good way, where I feel like I could buy this chair at Brookstone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can see where the little massagey bits would be.
Yep, it does
and
have
that
those
little panel, you know?
bespoke panels, though, for the armrest, so I appreciate that.
And you're not going to accidentally jettison anybody on this one. For sure. They upgraded this model.
It's also, I never realized, on a slanted... What's the word? Pedestal thing.
Pedestal.
Like, if you look in that photo, it's not straight up and down. It's on it's on an angle.
I don't like that. I feel like that would make it break.
To the one all the way to the left that he's not sitting in.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a photo. That's a render.
Yeah, this is a CGI render.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so
we
it
don't
is.
know how accurate that
If I was William Fat Day Shirt Shatner, I would be really afraid of that bitch breaking right off.
I mean, he was, he was still in his fighting prime in the late 70s, I think.
Yeah.
He
looked good in the white shirt, so.
He still looked like
chairs.
TOS Kirk in this movie.
Yeah.
All right, by the
His
next
face
movie,
doesn't completely change until the next one.
like in Twok, which we're looking at now, where for some reason I didn't realize the chair changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's now white, which strikes me as strange.
Now it looks like a pool float.
Yeah.
It looks like the same chair that they reupholstered.
Yeah, and it's got a weird... I don't like the weird, almost like ray pattern they've sewn into it. It's just kind of...
Yeah. The shape looks like a seashell.
Yeah, well, and the ray pattern doesn't help with that shell effect.
Like I said, it looks like a pool float.
Yeah.
I mean, the leg things are the same. I thought the leg things went away at some point, but apparently not yet.
Yeah, no.
Because, I remember those being incredibly silly in the movie, where they just, we're red alert, hug your thighs.
I mean, did those ones move in the movie, or are those just the armrests? And they just kind of go over your legs?
Well, they're the exact same as
I know.
The TMP
well, I know,
one.
but did those actually move?
Did the Enterprise ones move? I thought only Captain
the
Fancy
Enterprise
Batons
ones ever
moved.
Yeah, Captain Fancy Baton's ones actually clamped on.
We'll get to his in a minute.
But I don't think Kirk's actually moved. I just think they had sort of a hook shape.
I swear I could have sworn they did in TMP, where something happened and the legs came in.
I don't. I feel like maybe some of the crewmen's had moving arms. I don't know if his moved though. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know.
You might be right.
I have to watch a 3.5 hour movie.
Yeah, it
to
looks
find
like
out.
maybe the whole thing is kind of hinged by the seat.
It could be, yeah. So maybe it does move.
Yeah.
Anywho, after this, we destroy this ship in Search for Spock when we get to see... Oh, no, actually, before that, I happened to notice that the Reliant chair is the same as the TMP chair, but dark gray.
Oh, yeah.
So I just wanted to show that to prove I did my work to see, what does the Reliant chair look like? Oh, same as the other ones.
Well, I'm glad that after all that time on SETI Alpha 5, he got himself a nice chair massage.
Yay!
The least he deserved, I'm sure.
Yeah, but speaking of the little armrest huggers that we see on Captain Fancy Baton's ship, Captain Styles, I happen to remember or look up, is he has these little... It's a very normal looking like office chair that's black with like...
Very 80s.
Yeah, with very many like little padding layers.
Yeah.
And these funky arm things.
That's right. They don't close over the leg. They just kind of clasp in front of him.
That looks like they hollowed out a 1980s electric typewriter and slid it over the chair.
That is possibly what they did.
I hope not. Poor typewriters.
But yeah,
I was also distracted because you see Styles resting his arm on these things, because these little arm things, they're so precarious. But I can also only assume that he's got like his Jettison Finney button on there. And the way that they're designed, like you could do nothing but Jettison Finney all day. Because you're going to rest your arm on it.
For a guy with a fancy baton, and I never really noticed this before, his uniform could use some work. Big gap at his collar.
Yeah, interesting. But
yeah.
I don't know. I think that the idea was that they were functional, that the armrests were functional
That
because
they
Yeah.
kind of strapped you in like a roller
yeah,
coaster.
because transwarp is so intense. you need to strap in, because if you remember when they were about to prepare to go to transwarp,
That's when
everybody's things closed.
Mm-hmm.
the Excelsior bridge in general in 3 is so weird because on the one hand it's supposed to look more high tech than any bridge we've seen before, but also they didn't want to spend too much money on it because they knew we were only going to see it for like 2 minutes. So it's
Even though they bring the Excelsior back in 6 with a different chair.
completely different bridge.
Different bridge. Yeah, it's a whole new thing.
It's like this bridge is a weird mix of we don't want to spend a lot of money, but we want it to look different, and it's really kind of blatant when you watch the movie.
Yeah, because this is supposed to be the most cutting edge ship that exists, and these chairs look like you got them from IKEA.
Yeah.
And assembled them kind of half-assedly.
Yeah.
With an Allen wrench.
Mm-hmm. Several Allen wrenches.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so after we destroy the hell out of the Enterprise and then come back from Wales, we have literally 5 seconds that we get to see the new Enterprise A, and we've got the old TMP chair back, but with a different paint job across the spine.
Yes.
That threw me for a little bit of a loop.
I'm guessing they weren't going to go all out and build a whole new bridge set for the short period that we see this in Voyage Home.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like they literally just repainted the bridge set from Star Trek 2.
Probably. We'll look closer at bridges another day, but the bridges are going to be tough for me to compile, so that's going to be down the road.
Yeah.
That's a toughie. We start with chairs. This one is like a slate blue with gray accents.
I mean,
and then a big white stripe down the middle.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's too bad. I mean,
weirdly spine-like effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, we have a wholly new chair in Final Frontier that looks like an office chair.
Yeah.
It's black.
Yeah.
It's got a headrest.
Yeah. They added those little things on the end to suggest that he's got buttons.
Yeah, and it's very clearly like the little panels there are similar to what Picard ends up with.
Yeah.
Which strangely, I think at this point in TNG, Picard still had the little flip up.
I think
panels,
so, yeah. Yeah.
And wouldn't get the panels like this until maybe the next season.
They maybe actually just ripped them right off of this and painted them.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Keep a good eye on these.
Maybe they were like so impressed with this chair, they're like, oh, we got to bring that to the show.
Rip out anything that's useful from it.
Yep.
We do, however, see something close to this chair, but again, is different in Undiscovered Country because now it's like a nice gray.
Ooh, this might be the nicest looking one.
It's the exact same as the other one, but light gray.
Yeah, but
it's amazing
what
an upholstery change can do.
I feel like it looks like it belongs in a fucking wood-paneled hatchback.
It's still it does just look like they went to Staples, bought a chair, and glued on some...
But I don't know, it looks like it would cradle you, which I like.
It looks comfy.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I can see the captain just falling asleep all the time.
That's a bad captain.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that doesn't seem like a good selling point.
No, it's before Shatner got his apnea machine, so... he does ads for those now.
He looks so old in that picture.
Oh,
That's
the baby.
an awful picture.
Well, I mean...
The chair looks great, though.
He was getting old at this point.
Yeah, but he somehow looks younger in Generations.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we should do an in-depth analysis to determine if William Shatner actually died in 1980 and was replaced with a body double.
Oh, that's
Him and
sad.
Paul McCartney.
I was going to say we could start a McCartney-esque rumor. Yeah.
Yikes.
Kirk is dead.
No, he's a jerk.
All right. Also, in the Undiscovered Country, we see Sulu's Excelsior, rather, which is a very pretty blue.
Yeah, it's the same chair though.
Yeah, but the
different upholstery.
The blue's it's a very nice shade of blue, and
I
it
love the blue.
It sets off the uniform really well.
It does. It looks really nice. Plus, it looks nice with his eyes.
I know it sounds a bit silly, but just making it that bright fucking blue makes it look better. It feels a little less like we just bought this at Staples, because you can't buy a bright blue chair at Staples, at least not in the early 90s, I imagine, or now.
You know what every captain's chair on every other ship lacks? A coffee table.
Yeah. Sulu has his little coffee
that's
table.
For some
true. He
reason,
does
for
have
some
a
reason
coffee
the captain's
table.
chair has a little coffee table in front
Because that's
of
where
it.
his teacup is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you can request it, and Sulu's just one of the few that did.
It just seems
Actually-
like a massive hazard on the bridge.
I mean,
like,
that's
tripping
true.
over it.
I mean,
someone's definitely going to be impaled on that when they hit, like, transwarp or some shit. But,
here's
like,
the thing.
You know, whatever.
the main bridge hazard is the bridge. You take a bit of a bump and half your consoles explode.
Yeah, and rocks fall out of the ceiling.
Yeah.
But actually, you bring up a good point about, okay, follow me here.
Mhm.
But what exactly is the point of the captain's chair? Because the captain doesn't really get any, like, screens. All he's got is the Jettison Finney button sometimes. But if you have to give him any information, you have to tell him. He can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. But he's like coordinating.
Okay.
He doesn't need to look at the screen because
He has to
Other
tell someone
people
else
are
to look at
looking
their
at-
screen?
other people are looking at the screens, and he just has to. And then they distill the information, and then he makes the choice.
And I feel like there were moments in TNG, I don't think I'm making this up, where it was sort of implicit that if he absolutely had to, he could access more systems from his chair if he wanted or needed to. But as long as the crew's there, that's not strictly
What
necessary.
systems do you see at the chair?
Like with
His
his
little panels on
his
it,
little panels, he can kind of fuck around with them if he wants.
He's just playing solitaire on it.
like a little iPhone.
Oh, that'd be great. Oh, fucking Tetris. Oh, I would Tetris the hell out of those.
He's playing Galaga.
Speaking of,
Speaking of, let's move forward to the next generation,
Oh,
where we
my
have
God.
these like kind of camel-colored atrocities.
Looks like a fucking Aztec monument to the sun. What the fuck is this chair?
it's hideous.
So I guess
Bad.
the connection I was making with the TMP chair was mostly the like random kind of hole in the middle, which is way longer than I remembered.
Oh
and
yeah,
the sort
there's a
of ribbed
lot of
effect.
hole in the middle. The other ones didn't have a hole though; it just had a kind of stripe.
Yeah, no, it had a stripe that
This
I
one's a
think
full-on
reminded me.
hole.
Yeah, and it did have like the little hole on the headrest, but it was much smaller. It's, it's probably the most creative chair since the TOS one. Like, it does look like either they had to build it completely, or at the very least, they had to really modify the hell out of the chair they bought.
Or they just scooped something out of like a really old, gross car.
Yeah, it's also
I'm not
neat.
into it.
You can see how it comes not out of the floor. It doesn't rest on the floor. It comes out of the wall and
Yeah.
rests on the bar from the wall.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like something from public transportation. Like it doesn't.
Well, I mean, I think that's why,
I've
even
ridden
though
on this bus seat.
even though they only used it once, it was so that it would be able to swivel. That caught us all off guard that time where Riker turned all the way around in his chair and we're like, wait, whoa, slow down, what?
Changing the world one swivel at a time.
Yeah, I think the big missing part of the back down the middle would be really uncomfortable to
Right?
sit back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why Riker actually has back problems.
It's like not only is the lumbar support bad, it's not there. Literally.
Yeah, these ones do not look comfortable at all.
They do not.
They look like that kind of leather that just doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Spot would scratch it open. Now, Jake, you were
Sweaty
talking-
balls.
Spot.
You were telling me about the armrest thing. So what is the deal with the armrest things the
Okay, so
captain hits?
on this chair,
They flip up.
those so you see how there's like two little panels at the front of
Oh,
the
okay.
armrest? Those flip out, and there's
So
little
that they're-
screens on them.
So that they would go where the other ones that you see that are kind of like sticking
Yeah.
up go.
Yeah, and in future versions of the TNG captain's chair, they are not flip up. They're just permanently, they're like the chair from that we saw previously.
Okay, so
Does
he
it
does
really-
still have little screens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
he always
doesn't-
has little screens.
It doesn't really make sense to have to flip them up all the time is what it
No.
really comes down to.
No, that doesn't make sense.
I
It's
think
not.
this
It's
is,
not like
this
it's going to
is safer
change
for
it.
Finney. I'll admit.
True.
But,
Yeah, but fuck that guy.
Yeah, but later on in TNG, we see the little flip-ups. They're not even like they're like full-on whole new arm sections.
Yeah. And they've actually also slightly rebuilt the middle of Picard's. 'cause,
Yeah, it looks like
the
it's
hole
more
doesn't go all
structured.
the way.
I feel like that would give you serious carpal tunnel just sitting there.
Well, you
Wouldn't
just
have
don't
to
always-
type a jot.
You don't always leave your hands like that.
Well, I suppose it depends on how long your arms are, though. I mean, look at how he has to put his hand to have it on his armrest.
Hmm.
Don't like
It's
it.
not a hand rest; it's an arm rest.
Yeah, but it doesn't work for his arm because his arm is.
Well, you sit with your hands in. You don't sit with your hands like out like you're a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Then why are they called armrests?
For your arms, not your hands.
So there's a little diagram on this slide here, and it says that the panels are an LCARS interface. The angled sections at the end of the armrests contain small LCARS displays that allow the captain to access various ship systems without leaving his post.
Mm-hmm.
They've also put stronger looking struts under the chairs, it looks like.
Oh yeah, they're not just sticking out of the walls. Now they have a whole little column.
And they also, can we go back one actually real quick? Sorry.
Yeah.
They've also, it looks like, slightly shrunk the armrests on the flanking ones.
Yeah, and it looks like they've raised them up a tad.
Tiny bit, yeah.
Interesting.
So that the captain's chair stands out a little bit more. Because it's already the center, so it was, it stood out in that regard.
Yeah,
But also
he's got the biggest headrest.
Yeah, it stands out a little bit more aesthetically, too, which I think is useful. Oh, and they got rid of the little jump seats on the ends.
Oh yeah, where's Yar gonna sit?
Nowhere. She's dead.
Oh,
damn it! Beat me to it.
All right, moving forward, we see in speaking of Yar, we see a new chair that is on the Enterprise C in yesterday's Enterprise that we never get a very good look at, but I found this I took this one really quick screen grab before someone walked in front of it.
So my guess,
it's very simple.
My guess is that this is a redress of the battle bridge. I bet it's the same chair from that.
I'm sure. Actually, I think the couple times I saw the battle bridge, it looked identical to the chairs in the normal Enterprise.
Oh.
So I didn't take a screen grab of it, but I also ran out of sanity.
This has the old ops and con stations on the bridge too. So I think you might be right, Chris, that this is a redress, but I don't know if they would have swapped out the chair.
Yeah.
It's a very boring chair.
I think they knew no one was ever going to get a great look at it, so they didn't work too hard on it.
You know what that could be? That could be Picard's season 1 chair, just reupholstered,
and with the flippy things taken off.
It's got it's on a different base. Now it's on a big cylinder base.
Yeah,
base.
Like they just put it on top of something.
It would explain why there's those weird gaps in the end where her hands fit in.
Yeah.
Like if they just ripped out the...
It looks just like it with a different back panel that doesn't have holes in it. And
I bet that's exactly what it is. I think you nailed it.
We see one that's incredibly similar in... What episode was this? Redemption Part 2.
Yeah.
When Data takes control of the Sutherland.
That's just also a completely bonkers bridge.
Yeah.
Compared to every other bridge.
Jem'Hadar bridge.
Yeah, it was very strange.
A lot of railings.
Yeah, it was completely unlike any Starfleet bridge we'd seen before or have seen since.
Well, we'll see it one day when we talk bridges. I tried to get a good clip of the chair. This is the best I could do.
Yeah.
Because it's also a very dark lit episode.
Yeah.
So it was hard to get good visuals.
It's a nice chunky chair. Looks solid.
No screens.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah.
Yeah, but the bridge is so small, he just needs to turn around
true.
And he can probably reach those screens behind him.
And that's kind of what he did in that episode.
You're right.
He's like, instead of doing any captaining, I'm going to do all the work myself. All right, we're going to move forward to Generations, where we have this big, comfy chair. It looks like it belongs in a minivan.
Yeah, it really does look. This one really looks like it came out of a car. You're right.
Yeah, Tim Russ looking human in there.
Yeah, I like this one though. Again, it looks like they, like with the TOS one, they started with a real chair as the base, but they built enough onto it that it feels a little special.
Yeah, I like the color of it too. This kind of tealy blue color.
Yeah. It's not as good
it's
as...
no indigo blue, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's no Excelsior blue, but it's a nice blue. And there's, I was going to say, there's Captain Cameron.
Yeah.
Harriman.
No, I know.
His character name in
I know, Bueller. But we've made this joke before.
Oh.
In what movies would these be? The later movies. We see the Enterprise E after we destroy the fuck out of the Enterprise D. Another leathery-looking chair.
Not too dissimilar shape-wise from his old one. I think a little slimmer, maybe. Same weird, just chunk out of the back.
Yeah, it looks like it's inviting somebody coming up behind him and tickling him through the back of the chair.
You know what
That's
it is?
true, because this one you can go behind him.
You know who designed this chair?
Q.
Yes, original flavor Q.
Ah.
He secretly designed it this way so that if he appears, he can just go like, Jean-Luc! Tickle him, and he goes, Jesus fucking God, Q.
I think this is a chair that belongs in a man cave. It just
Thought you were going to say it
screams.
belonged in a museum.
Yes, that too. No, it just looks like, for some reason, like man basement next to a pool table.
Mm. Yeah. Weird sort of burgundy color, which, fine. I'm not sure how I feel. I guess it works with the sort of muted palettes those movies had.
Yeah, I don't know about it looks like a leather, or at least a leather-like cover that I feel like they just wouldn't be using in space. It doesn't seem practical to me.
Or in like the 24th century period, I would say, because they're not really killing animals for food anymore.
Well, yeah, but they can replicate leather.
The leather,
Yeah, but even the feel of it doesn't, like, the feel of leather, I don't think space captain.
Well, I have fake leather in my car. Maybe it's
Yeah, and I hate it. Because it's too hot in the summer and it's too cold in the winter.
Yes, but space is very cold, Ames.
I have no segue, but we got to move on to the Defiance chair.
Which has, like, makes up for not having panels in the armrest by just having all the fucking computers right within arm's reach.
I like that. I think that's a good idea.
Too.
Yeah, no, like,
I think that's sort of a reflection of the function of the ship, too.
Yeah.
Right?
You also feel like one person could captain this ship instead of like on a larger ship where you do need the crew and you need to be the one coordinating your crew versus being the one flying the ship.
Yeah, it's a pretty good chair. It's got a nice bespoke looking base. It's
another big heckin' chunk of a boy.
Yeah, it looks solid.
It kind of looks to me like a dentist. All the stuff around it looks like part of a dentist chair. Like it's gonna start leaning back because it's got all this like.
Lean you back, yeah.
It's got all this chunky stuff around the sides.
You're right. I'm not gonna unsee that now.
It could also be a barber chair.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking Sweeney Todd.
Okay. The Voyager chair makes me very sad because it doesn't have any screens.
And
but she's got a whole
computer
panel right next to her.
That's not at all a place where you can look at it, though. It's next to you.
I think she looks at it often.
Does she? I hate the placement of it.
I kind of, I see that, this must be where it's on display somewhere because they had to put it on the picture on the left. It's like on a little swivelly thing that in reality it was not on for the set.
Ah, right.
In the set, it's just bolted to the bulkhead or whatever. But yeah, as far as like when you see it on its own, you realize it's kind of a boringish chair. Like it does feel like it's missing something by not having stuff built in. And again, I get that it's part of a larger bridge, but yeah, I don't know. It's again, I've had my issues with the whole setup they gave her anyway.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it's off center, which is a little weird.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't stand out in a way a captain's chair should.
Yeah, it doesn't look like she's doing it. It looks like it's literally just a place for the captain to sit and not for a place for a captain to do anything.
I mean, I think there's a reason that she does. I think she has stood a lot more than most of her predecessors at this point.
All right, minor spoilers, but later on we're going to see the Excelsior briefly in Voyager. Pretty soon, actually. It'll be a good time. But the chair is different, which is what I wanted to point out.
You're right, but it's still blue.
It's still blue. It has the same general shape, but it's suddenly very small.
Yeah.
Like the old one.
It doesn't make any sense because it's literally the same scene from Star Trek 6. So
they couldn't get the same chair for it, I'm sure.
Sons of bitches.
They gave away the chair or something. I'm sure we'll find out when we come to this episode. But yeah, suddenly the chair only reaches like Sulu's shoulders instead of going all the way up his head.
Well, you know what it is? Takei stole the chair and couldn't admit it.
I hope he did.
Like, we don't know what happened to the chair. It's like, that's peculiar. He'd just been slowly... every day he brought home another piece of the chair. They actually had to... Later, towards the end of the film, it's actually just... He was sitting in like a folding chair and they painted in the chair behind him later. Painstakingly, frame by frame.
All right, one last one, just for fun. And then we'll stop here and do the rest of the chairs next week because again, too many chairs. But I'm including just for giggles the cutscene from Nemesis in which we see Picard in the new chairs that have seatbelts built in.
It's
But they're
about
not just any
time.
seatbelts. They're automatic seatbelts that come out and buckle for you.
Oh, they look really
they
goofy.
They do. Yep. Oh, boy. Actually, I feel like... Well, wait a minute. We'll get to this next week, but this might be Archer's second chair. At least the back of it, not the arms.
Yeah, they might have. I mean, they were filming them around the same time, probably.
Oh, that would be funny.
Interesting. We'll have to see next week.
Yeah. So keep a good eye out for these chairs. You see them all on our Tumblr. And rate them all together. We're going to finish them up next week because we haven't covered Enterprise, the movies, or any of the new Trek chairs. And of course, there's new chairs every week. So I'm sure I'm going to continue to be updating these things. I was so sad because I realized just the other week, I know you guys aren't caught up on Prodigy.
Not at all. We really have to.
But they introduced a new uniform in Prodigy. I'm like, damn it, there goes my whole uniform discussion.
So
Rats!
excited. I gotta say, I was thinking going into this, the obvious right choice for best chair is the original chair. But then again, there is that Prodigy chair. It's a nice chair.
Yeah, we'll look at those next week. I'm really excited because that's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah. Speaking of next week.
Yeah.
What else are you up to?
The other things we're doing next week, we're going to cover some more Voyager episodes.
Oh, shit.
Shocking absolutely everyone. Next week is going to be episodes Life Signs and Investigations.
Uh-oh.
Incredibly innocuous titles that I don't remember anything about. So,
Hooray.
Yeah, come back to us next week. Catch up on all of our past episodes. You can find them on the SoundCloud or really anywhere else you see podcasts. We're there. Find us. Rate us if you haven't yet, because that's always a fun thing to do if you have the iTunes thing or any other place where you can subscribe and rate and like and give a comment and all that stuff. You can hang out with us on the Facebook. You can hang out with us on the Twitter. And yeah, be back for that. We'll see you next week. This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This has been Jake.
And this time, Chris remembered to say his name.
What did you do last time?
Well, at the beginning,
Oh, at the
I
beginning.
completely fucked everything.
This has been Chris.
Yep.
You know what Janeway should have done when she was going to fly the ship into the missile?
What?
Grabbing speed!
Ah!